You are now listening to the Purpose Addicts podcast.
You got to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to have the ability to self-assess, and not everybody has the ability to self-assess.
You don't necessarily have to like school to be successful in school. You just have to know how to play the game and finesse it a bit and get through it.
Welcome to the Purpose Addicts podcast. This is a short yet powerful conversation designed to help you do 3 things that can ultimately change the trajectory of your life. 1, discover your purpose. 2, walk in your purpose. And 3, ultimately fulfill your purpose. I am your host, Coach Vic, and I'm joined as always by my lifelong friend, my brother, the educator, Dr. Shane Colquhoun. Shane, what up, homie? How you doing? What was that? What was that?
I said, hey, I'm good.
I mean, that's what I heard, even though you said no words. Luckily, I know how to interpret your sign language. My man said, what's wrong with you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to talk to you, bro.
Same here, man. How's your week been?
You know what? The week has been good, man. There's been last couple of weeks, there's been a lot, and now it's starting to slow down and settle in, and I can get into a groove. And I'm a creature of habit. I need my routine. But sometimes it's good to shake things up. So I'm all right, man. I'm all right. How about you?
Well, you text me on Wednesday about getting Sabrina some audio clips or something, which she asked me weeks ago. And I mean, she didn't see. All right, friends, if you ever want me to do something, you have to give me a date and time, because if you don't, it's going to float in space. And if I don't know you need it, and I'm not saying in this particular situation, I'm just talking in general. So like, Vic, if you need me to do something, right, you say, hey, Shane, can you do this by so-and-so? That way, okay. I know, because like right now, I guess this is footwork. Did you ever meet Kit Cottrell? We came down to Florida one time from Auburn.
I want to say, yeah.
And did some partying. He's launching a new clothing line. And he asked me to do the music for his website. Problem is, he asked me in December of 2020. And when he asked me, it was literally like, yeah, whenever. So a whole year goes by and it's on my radar. It's in my brain. Like, I know this is a thing, but I never had a timeline. So we reconnect. And that brother's amazing. Kid, if you listen, you are amazing. So we reconnect again. We start talking at the beginning of the year, January. He tells me the concepts. Boom, I start working, kind of. Basketball going on. Well, long story short, I finished the track about 2 weeks ago, and I actually sent it to him Monday. And he was like, yo, this is exactly it, bro. So it's like, I knew it, but I didn't know it until 2 weeks ago when he told me I'm doing a photo shoot in Atlanta the week of the 25th in April, and I need it. So now my brain flips a different switch of, I got to go. Yeah. So anytime you need something done, just give me a timeline, because my brain can't function unless I have it. I don't know why that is. Anyway, so when you text me,
it's the case for a lot of us.
Yeah.
You that deadline gives you it tells you the level of urgency.
Yes. And I am the do it at the last minute king. So anyway, my week, and I don't know how much of this my week, and I don't know how much of this is gonna make the air. We recorded Thursday while I'm in my meeting. I get a phone call from the newspaper. And I got picked as coach of the year for the area.
Man.
So I'm in the middle of dealing with a lot of pettiness and hate at my job from coworkers. And then I find out about this. So I'm just like, can't do no say nothing, and just blessed, bro. Just blessed. And I think the biggest thing from that is people are gonna people. And I think I said that in a prior episode, like, there is nothing you can do to stop a person who doesn't want you to succeed. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing. It's like a force. You can't stop it. The only thing you can do is just keep busting them in the head with success and just keep doing what you're doing and stay on your path.
Yeah.
So it was super odd, man.
Well, first off, congratulations on being Coach of the Year. I didn't know
you know what I'm saying?
whose presence I was in front of.
Man. Get right, homeboy.
My bad. Let me get myself together, sir.
Nah, it's just a blessing, and there's no greater feeling than being recognized by people on your peers on the outside. Like, even if it should come from the people right next to you, but if they don't see it, and the people from the outside see it, the question becomes, what's wrong with the people next to you? Yeah. And that's what you got to address. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
That's why I say, if you can't change the people around you, you need to change the people around you.
This one's coming out probably. You're 100% right. If you can't change them, you need to think. And this one now is coming out. And this will kind of take me to one of the what blew your minds, because I know you wanted to do it. Most decisions, you're not deciding on the decision itself. To move, not to move. The decision is, do you want to have faith? That's the decision. Because if you go through the process and you're not moving, recklessly, and you really take the time to think about things, like, okay, you put a plan in place, like, it's not a decision to or not, because if you believe, you understand that, I don't know the Bible well, but it tells me that God's going to meet our needs, or if he cares about the birds and the bees, what more does he care about me, or something like that. That's what the Bible reads. So it then becomes, as I said, it's not a decision on the decision. It's a decision on, do I want to step out and have faith? Yeah. Am I going to do the work? Faith without works
is dead. So now, am I going to have faith? And then am I going to bust my butt and elbows, ass and elbows, and put in the work? So, and with that, and this was what blew my mind, you can't want from God and be God at the same time.
Oh, man. Okay. You can't want from God. You can't ask God for this blessing, but then try to control every aspect of the blessing. Well, where did I need this? I want a new job, but it has to be here, making this. Which one is it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
that's cold right there. Yeah, you can't want from God and be God at the same time.
Not gonna work, homeboy. Pick one. You can't be God and want from God at the same time. It doesn't work. It's not gonna happen. Because trying to be God it kind of defeats the purpose of what this thing actually is,
Well, it discredits and or diminishes your faith, right? Because you walk into a scenario asking God for what you want, and then you turn around and try to dictate how it's going to go.
How it's going to go. Yeah.
It discredits your faith.
Yep. And it's, when I moved to Alabama, bro, I either had $46 or $64 in my pocket. I can't remember. And there were nobody that was really telling me to come. And you just look around 14 years later, everything that's done, it's just gotta trust. And everything is a faith decision. You're not deciding on that thing. You're not deciding on that thing. So, sir, ma'am, person, if you have a decision to make, tap into your faith and to begin to think about it that way. And whatever it is that you do believe, lean on it and make that step. Or not. But just know that it's a faith decision.
Yeah. Check this out. I appreciate you graciously giving me what blew your mind, because, man, this week I had a good one. One that blew my mind, and I wanted to share it with you because it's based off something you always say on the show.
Okay.
So, I do Clubhouse in the morning. I got a community that I'm a quote unquote a part of. I'm a part of the family, through KBCN, the network, the whole 9 yards. And matter of fact, John Schultz, the co-owner of KBCN Media, who we partner with, he was talking and he said, your quote, success leaves clues.
Mm.
But what he went on to say is, if success leaves clues, then failure leaves data.
Mm.
I said, oh, you're right. Failure leaves data, right? So you take that a step further. What data does it leave? And I said, for me, it boils down to three things. One, it gives you lessons that you can apply in future scenarios so that you can improve your results and outcomes. Right? That's one. Two, it reveals the people who truly were in support of your ideas and your dreams, as well as those who were never in support of it. Because when you fail, you're going to find out, right?
Facts. And even when you succeed, they're going to find things. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Even when you succeed, but definitely in the failure, it will reveal that. So you got to take a step back. Yep. Yeah. I told you so, right?
Yeah.
But the third thing was failure isn't final. And you learn that in the failure based on the decisions that you make. Right. And that just blew my mind to think you're right. Success leaves clues, but failure leaves data. And so it got me thinking about this whole response to when failure happens, the idea of I told you so, right? So then fast forward, I'm in the car riding home and I'm listening to Andy Mineo. He has a song called Vendetta. This is crazy how this stuff all ties together. The chorus of the song starts out, I told you so, I told you so. We are the ones, right? So it's that idea of I told you so. And it got me thinking, I said, I want to ask you, when you think back to your journey and your aspirations and your goals, who would you go back and tell I told you so with regards to your own journey, you achieving what you've accomplished up to this point?
Anybody that I felt ever doubted me. Any and everybody that I told that I feel ever questioned me or ever said I couldn't do it, said I wouldn't do it, said I didn't know how to do it. All of y'all, big bag. I told you so. But in and of itself, I don't think and I told you so is necessarily a bad thing. Because for instance, if we're working together on something and you make a suggestion, and whether it's nicely or whether it's politely or impolitely, I go the other direction based on my judgment. I have no problem if somebody comes back to me and says, I told you, like we should have tried it this way. But it has to be back to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go out there and say, man, well, I tried to tell him. No, if you come back to me and I consider you close and I consider you a person and I consider you a person that I work with, a coworker, if you come back and say, yeah, I told you, as long as I don't let my ego get in the way. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's necessary. As leaders, you have to listen. You know what I'm saying? As leaders, like I tell people all the time, and I started to say it this week when I was in this meeting, that I don't know everything. You're gonna ask me something, and I have no problem in saying I don't know. But what won't happen is I'm not gonna come back tomorrow not knowing. And that's where it is. So I told you so in and of itself isn't necessarily bad as long as it's genuine and it's done in the right way. But if I can go back, anybody that ever doubted me or questioned, I got a big I told you so for y'all. Big one. Fat one.
Here, hold this.
Oh yeah, man, thanks. Let me show you something, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
do you feel like it for those individuals, do you feel like you harbor a grudge a little bit?
Yes. And I am in a space of my life where I'm tired of operating in that space of that constant friction of I have to prove y'all something. I heard something this week. It said, and it was Charlemagne the God. It was on the Brilliant Idiots. He said, if you really have self-confidence, you don't need validation from anybody. If you truly believe in yourself. So the fact that I let y'all, I'm looking dead in the camera, get to me where I have to tell y'all I told you so, proves that there's something wrong with me in turn, because I need your validation. So I'm trying to work to that point, whereas when y'all come with your come wits, I'm just, because I know what I'm capable of and I'm not worried about it.
But sometimes you need to share your dreams with other people, and you need to bounce ideas off of people.
Yeah, but you don't share it with the people that you know that's going to doubt you. It's typically the same people. Like, I share them with you because I know you're going to be my biggest cheerleader. But Joe Schmo next to me that is hell bent on proving that I'm not good enough, you don't share dreams with him. And here's another example why you can't share with everybody. You have to, but you can't, because we will all have those people who come as impersonators that are with us saying, oh yeah, you can do it. But in the background, they killing you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like, if we go into war, Vic, me and you going to fight somebody, we about to go with me and you against 4 people. I need you to believe that we gonna kill it, that we gonna whoop tail. I don't want you to believe. I don't need you to halfway believe. I need people around me that if Colquhoun say that he gonna go in there and come back with 2 wolves and a bear, man, yo, Colquhoun gonna come back with 2 wolves and a bear.
Yeah. You got yours? I mean? I got mine. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
It's like playing spades. How many books can you get?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not with the tell everybody everything. I do subscribe to sharing somebody that you care for, but then sometimes you just have to keep some things to yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right. So keeping with that theme of I told you so, can you think back to a moment where you yourself may have questioned your own potential? What would you go back to you in that moment and say now regarding I told you so?
Those times would be the times when I kind of got away from believing in God and the power of, and again, I'm not pushing religion, or it's not religion. I'm not pushing any form of spirituality on anyone. But there are times when you start relying on yourself.
Yeah.
And thinking that it's all me and I can do it. And then you fall flat on your face, or you don't believe. And, you know, God just gives me that little tap on the shoulder, like, told you, homeboy. Like, if you just get out the way and let me do what I do and be who I be, like, you'll be all right. Like, I say there's a lot of news that we're going to be able to roll out here in the next couple of weeks. And I could elaborate, and we're probably going to go back to this direct episode as we begin to roll out some of the good news and things. But those moments where I told you so come from my lack of belief, or my lack of faith, or my lack of trust with the big man.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you? I didn't ask, how about you in any of these situations? You can tell that your boy's on fire today.
I see it. And that's why I want to let you ride, man. At the end of the day, if we going into battle and you say, I'm going to take the lead, let's go. Because I believe we're going to be all right. To your question, if I could go back and tell somebody I told you so, it isn't a somebody for me. It would be the environment we grew up in. The environment we grew up in said that we shouldn't be where we are, and nor should we have accomplished anything that we accomplished. And I would go back to that environment on them days when I might have been scared, I might have been a little fearful, I might have been a little terrified, and say, I told you I was going to make it. I told you I was going to be all right. The moments when, you know, I was by myself, which for me, it covers both sides. What would I say to myself? I would say that you're going to be all right, but I would also tell me, hey, give yourself grace, give yourself a little bit more grace. That perfectionist mindset, you know, can sometimes be extremely hindering and detrimental to what we can accomplish. Believe it or not, being a perfectionist lends itself to suggest that the results and the outcomes are going to be this extreme and this extravagant end goal. What we don't see to that pro is the con, that it also forces us sometimes to not give ourselves grace in the moments, especially when we fail. Hence why success leaves clues, but failure leaves data blew my mind. It's why it was connected. I'm a part of a mentoring program to college students, and I had a conversation this week with a mentee, and she was asking me these types of questions. And one of the questions she asked me was, have you ever failed? How did you overcome it? How do you maintain your confidence after a failure? Right? So it had me thinking, right, back to when I was her age. That was the advice I gave her. I would go back and tell me, give yourself more grace. You're going to be all right. And I think that fast forward even now, I speak that to myself. Yeah. Hey, give yourself grace. You don't have to know it all, and you're not going to be able to execute the way you want to all the time. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with aspiring to, but you're not going to be able to all the time.
That's true.
Now, check this out. So one of my favorite books is What Got You Here Won't Get You There by Marshall Goldsmith, right? Okay. It's actually one of few books I have on my bookshelf. That's what I have up there, some of my favorites. And in the book, he has what he calls the 20 bad habits, which are these behaviors that leaders exhibit that turn other people off. One of the 20 habits is clinging to the past. And I'm going to read you what he describes as the definition. It says, clinging to the past, the need to deflect blame away from ourselves and onto events and people from our past. This is a subset of blaming everyone else. Clinging to the past. I asked you that original question about who would you go back and tell I told you so? Because fast forward, how does clinging to the past hinder you from progressing in the future?
It's a roadblock. It can be a proverbial wall clinging to the past. And it's funny because as we're talking, all of these thoughts are moving. And like, if you really, like, let's just take any situation, looking for a job, trying to get a promotion. Let's say you're trying to get a promotion and you don't get it. If you know that you gave your best effort into that activity and you don't get the outcome that you desire, you did not lose. You really and truly didn't lose, because there's, like you say, failure leaves data. Now you get, I think for me, clues, data. You know what I'm saying? Where the clues, the data. So now you get to go back and really learn about what you need to do moving forward. However, if you stay bitter in the past, you're never really going to ever be able to move forward, because your mindset and your approach is going to hold you back. Like, for instance, you fail to get the promotion. You have the data of why you failed. You get caught up in, I should have did this, I should have did that, I should have got this, as in like you were done wrong. The next time you get to that opportunity to get a promotion, will you be able to draw on the positive data? All right, this is what I do, this is how I'm going to fix it. Or will you become tense or pessimistic or unbelieving about the next opportunity? So focusing on the past can present a wall that will block you from moving forward in the future.
Yeah. The hardest part, though, I would imagine for some people, is knowing when to let go of the past, knowing when to say that I no longer have to go back and tell myself or anybody else, for that matter, I told you so.
As soon as you identify the lesson. Once you identify the lesson in the loss or the failure. Like, what's
knowing
the sense
when
of,
to let go is based on you learning the lesson that you should have learned in the loss.
Pretty much. We can go to the Elite Eight game, basketball game. We lost by 10 points. Okay. They went 9 for 14 from 3-point land. Okay. 7 of those came from one person in the first half. It was a simple pick and roll that we never picked up on, and we lost the game in the first quarter. That's the lesson. You got to be able to come defend. You have to follow your game plan, and you have to execute. So now that I know that game is done, it allows me to appreciate the run a little bit more. There's 137 1A teams in the state. I was in the final 8. Great accomplishment. Okay. Now in the off season, we're going to make sure that our defensive philosophy is tight. We know what we do on screens. We know what we do on bumps. We know how to switch back. We know what we're doing on dribble handoffs. And we're going to teach that from day one. Moving forward, that pass, you can't fix that now. All you do is you got the lesson. You understand where you fell off. You know what I'm saying? The year before, it was we should have won, but we didn't. Our leading scorer went 1 for 14 from 3. Okay, so now coming into this season, the motto was you got to be your biggest in the biggest moments offensively. You got to be able to score the basketball when we need it. We never had that problem this year. So it's simple about once you learn what the lesson is, once you identify the problem, it's off. It's over with. You can't go back. You appreciate that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No need for I told you so.
You know? Yeah, no need, you know, you know, another example, and we could bring where you get that bad data and it holds you back. About 3 years ago, I had an interview at a really big ACC school. And going into it, I didn't think I was likely to get the job. Black boy, ACC, this, that experience, blah, 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 blah. Go there. I felt like I did really good on the interview. I ended up not getting it. Okay. I never really got information on why. But sometimes I think to myself, is it because I went into the meeting knowing or feeling like I wasn't going to get it?
Did you self-sabotage it?
Self-sabotage it. So that's that past experience of what society tells us leaking into the actual performance. Okay. True story. Every job since then that I have interviewed for, I've gotten.
All because you changed your mindset going in.
And halfway through that ACC interview, I was like, one or two things is going to happen. Either you're going to be really tense and be walking on eggshells and bomb it, or you're going to be yourself and just see what happens. Since then, I decided anytime I'm stepping in one of these rooms, I'm going to be authentically me and let the chips fall where they may. And I just realized that as we were talking, I've been on several since. I'm still in my same position for choice. You know, you can't jump on everything. But ever since then, any opportunity where I've been a finalist, I've gotten. Moving on past that doubt, learning from your experiences.
I figured that's where we'd end up, man. And I needed that conversation.
All right. So what's beating you up? Because I feel like there's a reason why you brought this conversation. So what's going on?
Well,
or what can you tell me?
The reality is I'm the type that carries a chip on my shoulder, and the feeling that someone else didn't believe in my dream sticks with me. Now, I've had coaches in the past who will tell you you can't do something as a motivator because they see that I respond to that. Like to tell me no makes me that much more determined. But what I've probably come into in the past year is what kind of weight that carries on me and in my life.
And that was going to be my next question to you. Is it worth the wait? And I have seen it. I've seen it play out just this week, bro, with this being selected as coach of the year, where it's like, I've literally come to the conclusion of if I decide to come back, I'm done letting y'all be this weight on me.
Yeah.
I'm done. I've been validated. I've gotten a stamp. And problem is, I had to wait I drove myself crazy waiting on validation as opposed to just knowing that I'm putting in the work, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, how it showed up on me is the chip on my shoulder, the metaphorical chip on my shoulder fueled me for the entire time until I got that thing I was waiting on, so that I could go back and say, I told you.
Yeah.
Right. But then what I'm left with is, so where do I go now? What do I do now? I lost the fuel. So for me, I realized that, yes, it may have brought out the best, quote unquote, in me, to hold that chip and be fueled by that anger or that frustration or that doubt that people have on my life and what I can accomplish. But I couldn't go past that. It put a cap, because whenever I achieved the thing that you said I couldn't, I had no more motivation, no more fuel to keep going. And what I need to create is sustainable fuel.
Yeah. And that would lead me to the question is, was that chip in and of itself limiting?
It was. It absolutely was. Because again,
yeah,
whatever created the chip is where I stopped.
Yeah.
Once I accomplished it, that's where it stopped.
Yeah. And, well, for me, it was limiting in the sense of, in the process, I was so focused on proving them wrong as opposed to the craft of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, yo, I mean, I'm learning, I'm putting in the work, I'm doing the time, but it's just all about where your focus is.
Yeah.
Over here, it's just this vengeance. Over here, it's just an inquisitive. And yeah, bro, exact same, I told you so is great. I don't think I'm going to be there much anymore. I'm 30, how old am I? 37. I think those days of I told you so, I don't know anybody, nothing, man.
Yeah. I told you so will only get you so far.
Yeah. You got to have there has to be a great, like, imagine a person whose purpose, his whole purpose and intentions is to just, it's predicated on I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
That journey can't be fun. That journey can't be fun because you're pent up.
Mm-hmm.
You're pent up. You're angry. I got to show them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to do it any other way. I don't know how to say I told you so nicely. No. I don't know.
There's no such thing as a nice I told you so.
There's no such thing as a nice I told you so. There's no thing. Now, again, I go back to the point. There are places where I told you so are very important. And that typically comes from the people around you who want to see you succeed. Okay. So like right now, I've told you, bro, like, don't hang on to the I told you so's of meeting the expectation of others. So now if next week somebody tell you, man, I bet you can't do that, and you gonna stir it up, and then you come back 2 weeks later, man, I'm just so tired. Bro, I told you. You see what I'm saying? Stay away from that type of energy. Yeah. It's not needed. So there are places for it told you so, but that typically comes from the people, your circle. You need those people in your circle to remind you that, nah, I told you not to do that, bro. I told you not to do that. But you yourself, as in the hunter that's out here hunting,
Yeah. Oh, I needed that. I appreciate you. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you for that.
It's funny, we were in the exact same spot, just a different perspective.
Well, that's the whole premise of the show, right? Two different people who took two very different paths found themselves in the same place. And that's the thing about life, these shared experiences.
Yeah, we didn't have a conversation. And like when you told me yesterday, the episode's going to be I Told You So, I actually thought you were talking about the episode that's coming out next week. That's the title. And I was like, that doesn't fit, but okay, whatever.
See, folks, sometimes we're on the same page and sometimes we're not.
Yeah, sometimes.
But eventually we get there. Check this out. Mm-hmm. Check the quote out. Let's end the show here. I don't know how I found this, but I did. A guy, Tony Gaskins, is a motivational speaker. We run in a similar lane. Found him on Instagram. I think it's dope what he's doing in his message. So if you haven't heard of Tony Gaskins, look him up. He has a quote, and the second part of it is what stood out to me the most. The quote says, if you can't do anything about it, let it go. Don't be a prisoner to the things you can't change.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a prisoner to the things you can't change. And a lot of times when we get bottled up with, I told you so, we get bottled up with all that vendetta and that regret of what we didn't accomplish. We can't change none of that. None of it. So we got to let it go. So as you said earlier, when you're trying to figure out when to let it go, what's the trigger? The trigger for our audience, and we hope that you got this, is once the lesson is learned, move on and move forward. I appreciate you, bro. Another dope episode. Great advice, great gems. Again, I'm so proud of you for what you've accomplished, man. Being Coach of the Year, I know the challenges intimately and the process that you've been in up to this point. And I can't thank you enough for staying true to who you are and trusting the process so that you can continue to walk in your purpose. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. For our audience, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, share the show, tell 3 friends, tell them it's a dope experience. Go to kbcntv.com, check us out on video or any other platform that you enjoy listening to podcasts. You'll find Purpose Addicts. We just want to help you live life on purpose. We out.